Hey, founders. It's Tanya here. Welcome. I'm curious, do you ever struggle with building your team, specifically scaling your team? Does it feel chaotic? Does it sometimes feel a little clunky, maybe costly at the same time? I know this is one of my greatest opportunities for growth in business. And I think a lot of founders find themselves in this place, or at least this is what I've been noticing in the work that we do with helping business owners budget. So today I want to give you 6 simple steps that I hope will help streamline and clarify this process for you. So step number one, something that you might not actually think about, but is pivotal to making sure that you're hiring the right people, is actually defining what your values are. So your values are a group of your group or cluster of principles that are actually going to form your corporate culture. And most of us, when we're hiring people, we don't ask questions that better ascertain whether those people are going to be a fit within the corporate culture that we are looking to curate within our environment. So values are things like integrity, honesty, humor, compassion, right? So what does your company stand for? So step number one, understand what those values are and also understand your long-term goals for the company. Now, when I say long-term, I usually think in 3-year increments. It's totally up to you, but establish where it is that you're going, because obviously that's going to have a lot to do with the people that you need to hire going forward. So that's step number one. Step number two in all of this is to actually then look at the skills and experience required. So if you are an existing business, take a look at the team you have now, but also then identify any gaps, any skill or responsibility gaps, things that aren't getting done, balls that are getting dropped. What are the gaps that you currently have? If you're a new business starting out, obviously there's going to be quite a few holes that need to be plugged there. So think in terms of skills and experience required to get this business where it needs to go. So that's step number two. Step number three is where we're actually going to build an org chart. So now we're going to get into role specific, but we want to see what is the hierarchy. And I know that can be a dirty word sometimes, but it's basically about who's reporting into who. What areas of responsibility are there in the company? And then those individuals, who is going to be responsible for the people that are coming in? So rather than me go on this, I'm actually just going to share my screen because I think a picture will say 1,000 words here and will articulate this better than my words can. So an org chart is showing us, in this example, we've got the people, the doers, they're on the ground, they're making things happen. We then have managers that are responsible for these doers, right? So that you're like project managers making sure the work gets done. Then we have our founder, our CEO, our leadership team. And believe it or not, ideally, we should also have a board. It can be an advisory board. It doesn't need to be an official board of directors, but these individuals govern and manage our founder. And I won't get into boards today. There's a lot of ways that boards can work, but it's great when your founder, us, that we're responsible to a bigger source, right? Someone who's actually showing us the forest through the trees and holding us accountable to making sure that we deliver on our promises. Okay, so that's step three, is the org chart. Now, step four is the pay scale. So now for each, excusez-moi, for each one of these individuals, right, these roles, there's going to be a pay scale. Now go to ziprecruiter.com, payscale.com or .ca. What is the other one? Glassdoor. There's a number of different programs out there that you can type in the role, the industry, your geographic location, and it's going to give you the pay that is happening in that specific market. So it's going to say, on average, this role of a customer service rep, they're making anywhere from this amount to this amount. So now that pay scale, that you can put in your job profile. If you weren't aware, when you get all of your skills and responsibilities needed, this starts to form that job profile. But why this is so important is in the job profile, you can say that this role, the compensation is going to be anywhere from this to this. commensurate with your skill level. So it's important to know what that pay scale is, because the next step is understanding the career path. So the career path is understanding, for example, let's say Jane comes in as a doer. I don't have a sample role title here, but let's say she's a customer service rep. She comes in with just a tiny little bit of experience. She's been working in the industry for the last year. And so on the pay scale, if it started at 15 and it goes to 40, she might be coming in at $17. Jane needs to know what it's going to take to get to 20. So you're going to have to define that. That's part of scaling, is showing them how you are going to help them build their skill experience. And then once they top out here, and as long as your business is scaling, then Jane can come up here and now become a manager and responsible for hiring her replacement. So that's where we get this scaling effect going up, all from one job profile, right? And on the back end, knowing how these responsibilities are going to scale. So as responsibility scales, so does the paycheck, without you always having to go back to the drawing board. Step 6 in all of this, so step 5 was the career path. Step 6 in all of this is, again, that performance. So now that you have those benchmark performance measurements in place, now you need to honor that commitment to do performance reviews with these individuals. Did they hit those benchmarks or did they not? And if they did, then again, we are going to adjust for pay. So those are the 6 steps. You can see that I've added some notes here on bonuses and some different ideas. I'm going to let you look at the blog post for that. By the way, this image, you can download it in the blog post. So just click below so that you can get this if it is valuable to you. I hope it is. And I just want to share 2 other tips on this. So as you are bringing in people, remember, if it's you doing the training, don't hire everybody at once, because training can take anywhere from 30 to 60% of your time, right, to train that individual. So make sure that you're scaling your capacity and not getting everybody in all at the same time. The other thing is, when you are training a new individual, make sure you go into this with a comprehensive framework of how you are going to be training the individual. So what the objectives are in that lesson, right? How you're going to show them the theory and then the application, whatever that's going to look like for you. And then when you do the training, record yourself doing the training and then add that to your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. Because now for the next person that comes in, instead of you needing to take that time, you can guide them to the video, get them to watch it, and then show up with them, answer their questions, and work with them through the theory or shadow them in the training. So we just get more and more efficient with each round we do. So I'm going to leave it there. Again, more notes on bonuses and incentives down below. There's actually some exciting notes on that, so make sure that you read those. I'm going to sign out, and I'm just going to remind you that if you want to nail your numbers, you need to know them first. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now.